Alrighty, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Penscast recap. This evening, it is October 26th, and we are finally recording an episode that is not down in the dumps, depressing, because the Pittsburgh Penguins are back in the win column with a 4-0 victory over the Colorado Avalanche at PPG Paints Arena. And before we get into the details of the game. Going to welcome uh, my co-host here, Snail, back to the podcast here, and I'm going to turn it over to him for his quick thoughts on this victory and just to give us our opinion on what he thought about tonight.
Yeah, the Penguins played pretty much like a perfect game all around. I think the depth was noticeable. Jari was a brick wall, and I think the defense was really making his job a lot easier. He was making insane saves, though. He looked like Marty Brodeur out there, but more importantly, making the timely save. They killed the double minor. A lot of good looks in and around the net, and Jari looked sharp the whole night, tip to tail. So great job by him and the defense and the structure of the bottom sixth and the bottom six, and then the top six again. Just doing what they've been doing and being consistent and playing like superstars and the supporting cast with the finishing ability. Just a great game overall. I wish we could get 82 of these a year, but looking to build off of this, and it doesn't need to be perfect every game, but just a little bit of consistency I think will help this team go a lot further than what we've seen the past 6 games. So I'll hand it back over to you, but ultimately just you can't really pick much apart. It was just a really great game.
Yeah, I have to agree with about everything you just said there, and let's break it down here real quick how the scoring came about in this game. And in the first period, it was the Riley Smith show, continuing his strong start in a Penguins uniform. He gets his first of the evening, third of the year, unassisted at 4:40 of the first period. Just bang bang after a Nathan McKinnon minor expired, so not a power play goal, but right as he was exiting the box, and it's 1-0 Penguins. Second period, or still the first period, but later on, 16:51, Riley Smith, his second of the game, fourth of the year from Evgeny Malkin, and Brian Rust. Again, Brian Rust hype train, population me as always. Actually, his first assist of the season. He has 5 goals, but this is his first assist of the season. So um, he gets keep playing it just under his point per game pace. And after one period of play, we are at 2-0 into the second period. I'm for some reason a period ahead. Exactly at the 6 minute mark, Lars Eller, that third line coming to life again with a goal. This time it is uh, Lars Eller with his first as a Penguin, first of the season. It is 3-0. On the assist is Radim Zahorna. Drew O'Connor made a great play getting this puck into the zone. Did not get credit with a point, though he probably deserved the secondary assist. A great, just all line effort to make this goal happen. Zahorna getting it to the front of the net. Lars Eller there to clean up the business in front, and it is 3-0. And before we get to the third period, a very important moment in this game that we'll talk a little bit more in depth here. The Penguins kill off a double minor high sticking penalty to Evgeny Malkin. Basically, it did carry over into third, but it took off the rest of the second period. And the important part is the Penguins killed it all off without really giving Colorado many great looks. And the Colorado is loaded with weapons on that top power play. Nathan McKinnon, um, Cale Makar, Mikko Rantanen, plenty of firepower. Penguins completely keep them out. Tristan Jarry makes a couple big saves. We enter the third period 3-0 in favor of the Penguins. And then in the third, they kill off the rest of that minor. And then at about the midway point, 10:35, they put the game on ice. It is Sidney Crosby getting back on the score sheet, looking alive after a couple uninspiring performances from the captain. His fourth of the year, assisted by Jake Gensel. It's 4-0 at this point. The only thing left to take care of is a shutout, and the Penguins do that. Tristan Jarry goes 31 for 31 um, to get the shutout. A big performance from Jarry, not only because uh, just to get him back on track and get him some confidence. His main backup is now out um, a week to week. Andy Nedeljkovic, who went on long-term injured reserve. Hellberg will now be his backup. We don't really have a good book on Hellberg, so it was really good to see Jarry come out and pitch this performance tonight in the shutout. Not a shaky performance, not one of those 4-3 games. It just felt like this is a performance the Penguins needed against a team like the Avalanche, who were 6-0 coming into this game, to get the win, get back in the win column. They are now 3-4-0 on the year. So before we go into too much more, let's talk a little bit about Tristan Jarry tonight. Just overall, for all 60 minutes, from opening puck drop to the final horn, just a completely dominating performance from the goaltender.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I'd kind of mentioned earlier, I really think the team made his night a lot easier. There were a lot of good high danger scoring chances, but if you noticed on the penalty kill especially, that it was hard for Colorado to penetrate the pen zone. That's something that we haven't been seeing lately. It seems like it's been easy for these teams to get into Jarry's kitchen lately, and a lot of stopping them up at the red line and at the blue line, and making it hard to gain entry, which is a welcoming sight. It's just been so frustrating lately to see teams just seemingly have their way with the Pens. A strong performance on the penalty kill and just overall by Drew O'Connor. Drew O'Connor, not so much on the score sheet, but defensively, he was in Cale Makar's kitchen all night. He had a couple of great plays against him, picking his pocket, making life difficult for one of the superstars of the Avalanche and also league wide. Radim Zohorna. I mean, I've been on the Radim Zohorna train since he came up with Pittsburgh and got his first opportunity. This guy is buzzing out there. He hit the post, great shot. His size is really noticeable out there, dude. Like he's fast. He's aggressive on the forecheck. I think that he's developing into a perfect third liner for this team, and we saw him get a shift with Gino and Riley Smith. I thought that was great by Mike Sullivan to not so much put the lines in a blender, but give him a shot up, because he was clearly buzzing. He's very noticeable. Defensively, we're talking about Jarry here. I couldn't help but get a little bit of Roddy. I'm getting ahead of myself, but defensively, Graves is looking great. I've seen a little bit of hate for Graves online, and I don't see where that's really coming from. I think he's a great upgrade over Dumoulin. Riley Shea. Dude, this guy's looking like a player. Like defensively, great defensively. Like, and he's showing a little bit of, I wouldn't say like quite flashes yet, but some promise that he can carry the puck and move the puck like an NHLer. And that, for a team that is cap strapped and doesn't have too much in the cupboards as far as prospects, this is a great signing by Dubas, and he's showing a lot of promise. And he's winning the competition with POJ right now for that bottom pair, third pair. Wouldn't be shocked to see him get a look further up in the depth there defensively. Maybe pair him with Carlson. Not trying to get ahead of myself too much, but that's just kind of the way he's trending right now. He's looking like a great pickup by Dubas, and a promising young defenseman now with the Penguins, and getting his starting his NHL career.
Yeah, the Ryan Shea pickup has been something that his first NHL debut was not great, but again, a lot. I mean, your NHL debut, you're nervous, a lot's going through your mind. You're just trying to adjust to all the emotions and everything that comes with making your NHL debut. But ever since those last two games, he's been sparkling in the role that he's played, and for, like you said, a team that is cap strapped like the Penguins, being able to go out in the waiver wire and snag someone like that up is a huge advantage. And it's nice to have a general manager that kind of uses that to his advantage. There is talent on the waiver wire. Not saying you're going to get a top 6 goal scorer, 30 goal scorer on the waiver wire, but a depth guy like that is absolutely a great pickup. As for Radim Zohorna, I think he has done more than enough to keep his spot in Pittsburgh for this season. Um, as long as he stays healthy, obviously. Because right now, that third line is buzzing with Drew O'Connor, Lars Eller, and Radim Zohorna. They don't need to score every night. They just need to show some kind of life. And right now, everything seems to be working with those three together, and it's great to see. Zohorna, who had a great camp, and a lot of people were disappointed when he got sent down to begin the season, but that is what it is. He made the most of his opportunity in the preseason, made his case, and he was the first call up when Kyle Dubas decided to shake things up a little bit. So really good to see Zohorna doing what he's been doing. Penalty kill has been great. No real complaints there. Obviously, killing that 4-minute power play is massive because if Colorado finds a way to get a goal back before the end of that period, you never know what happens, especially with the Penguins carrying leads in the third period. But they kill off like 80% of that before the end of the second, kill off the rest in the third, and then it just felt like a matter of time. You just wanted to see him get to shut out. Crosby gets the cherry on top with the goal, and the Penguins get back in the win column with a really big win. And one last thing I want to touch on here real quick. Again, maybe the Carlson move we talked about a lot this summer, but maybe the move of the summer so far for Kyle Dubas and the Penguins has been the addition of Riley Smith. I just, again, he was the Zucker replacement. We've talked on here about Zucker as a player and a person, how much we were going to miss him, how much we like Jason Zucker. Jason Zucker, last I saw, he's out long-term with an injury in Arizona. Riley Smith has been, for what they had to pay to get him, and they took advantage of a tough salary cap situation in Vegas, and Riley Smith has been, I would even go as far as to say, better than advertised since coming to Pittsburgh. Him and Malkin have very, very strong chemistry, and everything right now for Riley Smith since coming over has been clicking. And I even go to say is maybe if you're picking an MVP for October at this point, outside of Evgeny Malkin, I think your MVP for this Penguins team right now is Riley Smith.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that at all. He's really, I didn't know he was this good. I mean, I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to Vegas, but with their hot start in the league and being in the postseason every year, it seems like I've seen a bit of him, and he's just the perfect complementary piece for Gino, which this team has really not had. And I think I've said it before, since like James Neal. James Neal was more of a kind of a pure type of goal scorer type of guy. He kind of reminds me of like a C-level Gensel or something. But Riley Smith is way more you really see the hockey IQ there. And it's always been interesting kind of trying to find a piece for Gino. He kind of, I don't want to say gets the scraps historically, but he kind of does. He gets whoever Sid isn't playing with. And this second line of Raquel, Gino, and Riley Smith is we have two first lines is what we have, and it's been a long time since we've had that. He's not a liability defensively. Riley Smith, I'm talking about. He's not a liability defensively. He makes things easy for Gino. It makes it look like Gino doesn't have to really think a whole lot out there, which takes a little bit of pressure off of him. Gino's either passing or he's finishing, and it makes it, when you got two guys like that clicking on one line, that makes just life a whole lot easier. The finishing ability and the hockey IQ is on display, it seems like, every night, and it's sad to hear that Zucker, I'm not keeping tabs on Zucker too much. I saw that he was out longer term, and that's a bummer. I can't say that I'm shocked. That's kind of been the story of his career, especially with his time in Pittsburgh. But this is what we could have. This is more than what we could have wished Zucker was. The consistency, the 200-foot game, and the health. That's something that we always kind of really found wishing and hoping for from Zuck. So all the best of luck to him, but can't say we're looking back now feeling sorry for ourselves. We got a stud, and we have two first lines. So one thing I wanted to add really quick, as you can see under my nameplate there, I'm calling for I want people to stop using Big Z for Zohorna's nickname. We've talked about jerseys and numbers getting retired league wide in certain markets. I think Big Z was Zdeno Chara's nickname, and that nickname should retire with him. He was a unicorn, a one of a kind, a true captain, won a Stanley Cup, just one of the toughest SOBs in the league for his whole career. And I'm calling for the change of it to be the piece. Because since Radim has stepped in and he's been buzzing, this team has looked different. There's been a new energy around that bottom six. He really brings speed and tenacity on that third line. The last time the Penguins had a player nicknamed the piece on their roster was Rob Scuderi in 2009, and they won the Stanley Cup that year. So I am calling for the change of Radim Zahorna's nickname to Radim the Piece Zahorna. I rest my case.
Yeah. I mean, everything has kind of changed since Radim Zohorna has come back up and joined the team. And again, they didn't win the first two games that he played, but there was obviously a boost to what he brought. He was a bit of a jumpstart to what he brought to the team. And going back to playing with Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, one thing that's important when you're playing with elite players like that, and we're talking the Crosbys, the Malkins, even the Lemieux, the Gretzkys, and the McDavids, is to be able to work with them. Not only do you need chemistry, but you need to have a high hockey IQ. And you see that in guys like Brian Rust and Jake Ensel. That's why they work with Crosby, because they can read the game, maybe not at the same speed that Crosby reads it at, but they are in position that they know where Crosby's going to be looking. They can put themselves in positions to succeed. Riley Smith is just like that. Now, playing with Malkin, you kind of never know what you're going to get all the time. You kind of got to be ready for anything. Malkin very easily on that 2-on-1 tonight could have shot that puck, but Riley Smith put himself in a position, stick on the ice. Malkin, an elite passer himself, put that right in his tape, and Riley Smith scores the easy goal. But Riley Smith, from what we've seen, clearly has a high hockey IQ. He can shoot the puck. He can pass the puck. He's a big body. He's not slow. He can keep up with Malkin. He actually plays at, it feels like, roughly the same speed as Malkin plays at. So a very great complementary piece for Malkin in the same facet of a guy like James Neal, like Snail said. And again, not saying that Riley Smith's going to go out and score 40. He actually scored he has scored 27 goals, is his career high. So far, well on pace to top that. So hopefully we can keep that up and he can get into that 30-goal club as well. So that's about all we got for tonight's game. Just a quick look ahead here before wrapping this up. Penguins back in action, still at home on Saturday, the 28th. The Ottawa Senators come to town. We talked about this many times. A game that, if you're going to be fighting for a playoff spot with a team like the Senators, these wins matter. So the Penguins got to come out, reset. Again, play within yourself, play like you did tonight, and hopefully you're walking away with another win and carrying 2 wins as we get toward the end of the month here. And then they wrap up October on Monday night with a game against the Ducks. So, Snail, before we wrap this up, any final thoughts on tonight or what's coming up?
Nope. Just this was as a Penguins fan, this is a game you love to sit and watch from beginning to end. Sid, a little old school with the slap shot, eh? Like I thought I love when he winds up the little slapper when he's coming down the wing there. I love seeing it. Vintage Sid, great game. We're not looking for that's not going to happen every night. I think we all as fans understand that, but just a little bit of consistency going forward. I love the structure in front of Jari. That's the one thing. If I'm pleading for anything from this team, it's just make Jari, or now we got Hellberg. I'm sure we're going to see him get some action coming up here. If we could just see a little bit more consistency going forward, that's a win. This is need to bank points early, man. Like these next couple of games are winnable games. I've been saying this since the beginning. This is a team with more Hall of Famers than a lot of teams have on the ice at one time. These should be, we should be banking points. It's the end of October, heading into November. You got to start coming away with at least 1 point, especially against these games like Anaheim or Ottawa is a good measuring stick for this team. Young, fast team with tenacity. Penguins need to I wouldn't say match that, but they need to. They're to be taken seriously now. This isn't the Ottawa of old. So looking for consistency in the games to come, and hopefully bank some points and get some dubs.
Absolutely. Again, just building off this and getting stacking some wins here, especially in these next two games before they head out west. And again, west, the teams in California aren't good, or LA is good, but Anaheim and San Jose have their troubles. But again, those long road trips, they eventually do wear on you, and you're more susceptible to slipping up and dropping points. So it's good to bank some points now before heading out west. So um, that's I think all we got for this evening. The
Candy
Penguins will,
draft coming up.
yes, again, we will keep promoting this. Candy draft will be recorded on Monday, posted on Tuesday in time for Halloween. So make sure you check out for that. Part two of this week's mailbag will be out sometime around, if not before this episode. So that this may already be out of date by the time you guys listen to this episode, but we will be back sometime this weekend to talk about the Ottawa game, and then get ready for another week of Penguins hockey. So Penguins 4-0 tonight, back in the win column with a big victory over the Avs. Much needed win, obviously. 2 goals from Riley Smith, Lars Eller, Crosby get on the board, and Tristan Jarry at the shutout. So for Snail, I'm Robbie. Garrett is sleeping somewhere. Um,
Garrett's buckled right now. He's
Yeah, he must
buckled.
be.
He's swinging from a chandelier right now.
See a chandelier plays in the background. But no, for Snail, I'm Robbie. Have a great weekend, everyone. Talk to you guys sometime next week as the Penguins, the season continues.